All right, fellas, listen. We're about to help you today.
He's about to help you.
We're about to help you for real. This is about to be the best cooking show you will ever have for Mother's Day. Listen, in a couple of days, or actually by tomorrow, you should be cooking and getting ready for this Mother's Day thing. All right, so we want to help you look good and be like a chef, a professional chef. I'm gonna give you a quick recipe. I got my sidekick here, Brother Benny.
Yeah.
Never been in the kitchen. Never been in the kitchen. Never been in the kitchen.
Never.
Just behind the plate.
Exactly.
That's his expertise.
That's my job.
But we're gonna coach him. I just want to show you that you don't have to be an expert to be able to make a meal that just gets you some extra points and an extra special night with the lady this weekend. All right, so stay tuned because we're about to make this happen. I'll show you all the ingredients. We're about to make a Cajun pasta. A Cajun pasta that's just gonna be delicious. Stay tuned. Check this out. All right, so we got the ingredients up in here.
Right here.
We got the ingredient cutter. We're going to show you how to cut some of these real quick and get everything in line. I promise I'll show you everything that we're going to be using, so it'll make it a lot easier. So first things first, we want to make sure that we cut all of our vegetables here. I got a red pepper, bell pepper, and a yellow bell pepper. A little bit different. This one is a little bit sweeter, and so I don't really use a lot of this. We'll use more of the red one. I'm gonna make a lot because I've got a big family, but you can make a smaller portion and I'll show you. So all you gotta do is make sure that you're cutting it here. So I slice it in the middle. You got all the little seeds in there. You can cut around it so that you don't get the seeds in there. Just try to avoid that middle core piece there, and we'll just chop it up in little dices. So I'll cut the first one, and then I'll let my partner here make sure that he shows you how he be doing his cutting. All right. Once you get everything prepped, then you should be good to go. I got a yellow onion here. I'll cut it in the same manner, little pieces as well, and then we'll throw it in the skillet once we start cooking. All right, we'll be back. We're back. Now I got all of our ingredients lined up, so we're just gonna go through it one by one. So the biggest piece that we've got to spend time on is just the prep. After you're done prepping, literally this will take you about 25-30 minutes tops. You're done. Wife is ready to eat, the kids are ready to eat. You can make that romantic dinner, set up your table, candles. Oh, I forgot one piece. I'll be right back. You can't forget the roses, fellas. Don't fail this one. This ain't the year. You gotta fail this, all right? Get the roses for the ladies. You get extra points. Sunday night, all right? Okay, here we go. So we got our sausage there, and I'll take a picture of this so that you can see what kind of sausage I got. Preferably what you want to do to make it real Creole, you got to get the andouille sausage. My family and I, we've decided that this year we're only doing turkey. We're not eating any red meat, and so actually they're not eating any red meat. I'm eating red meat like you wouldn't believe, but they're not eating red meat. So since they're gonna be eating, we got the turkey sausage. I got the smoked one, which is good for this particular recipe. We talked about the yellow bell peppers, which we cut up here, as you can see. I got my partner that behind the camera right now, but he hooked it up here. We got the red bell pepper. So I got 2 red bell peppers to 1. Now you don't have to make this much. watch this. My family, we got 6 people plus Benny. He counts for like 7 people. So I literally got a whole bunch of people to feed today. That's why I'm making this much. But I got a 2. You can make 1 if your family is smaller. And you can make half of the yellow one. I told you the yellow one is a little bit sweeter. So you gotta be careful. Unless you like it sweet, you can add more. I got this grated Parmesan cheese you can get at the store. It's grated. We'll use that towards the end. We cut up a whole yellow onion as well. You can have half of that. Depends on how you like your garnish on your food. Now, here's the secret weapons. Here's the secret weapons. You got this Creole. Can you see that? Can you zoom in on that? All right. You got your Creole seasoning. That's what you want to get that little Cajun taste into it. But I've got about a fourth of a cup of Creole in here. I got some oregano. We got some crushed black pepper that will be grinding. So I like to use the ones with the little seeds in it, so you can grind it. You get like the real stuff in there. Of course, you got your salt, your table salt. You'll need some garlic. I like to use the minced garlic for cooking. So we'll use that whenever we're frying and all that stuff. We'll use the butter later on to make our garlic bread. So I'll mix up some butter with some garlic, pop it in the oven, make some homemade garlic. I just got some $1 French, fresh French bread, okay, from the store. You'll need some chicken broth, okay, some extra virgin olive oil, okay. We're gonna be extra. We're gonna be extra in this cooking, so it's gotta be extra virgin. You know, in the bottle there. I've got one ingredient. This is the secret weapon. This is the secret weapon. You gotta get your brown sugar. Okay, don't tell nobody I told you this, but brown sugar, it adds, we'll just use a little bit of it, but it adds that background taste that nobody, you know, that one thing that people ask themselves, there's something in the back there. It's that brown sugar, all right? All right. Okay, I'm back. Heavy whipped cream. Heavy cream. Whipping cream, fellas. You want to get that? You know, I just got the cheap store brand version. Okay? And then you get your crushed tomatoes. Don't use that much. I'm not going to put measurements in here because I know all of your families may vary in sizes. And so you'll see how much I use for my sauce. That way you kind of get an idea. All right, so we'll be back. All right, so we're about to get cooking, and so we're about to throw in all of our spices, and literally the spices is really up to you. Listen, I gave you some measurements. They're whack, but they're whack measurements. You can use as much as you want or as little as you want, depending on your diet. This is definitely not fat-free. Alright guys, you saw the shrimp. I didn't quite talk about the shrimps. I got the jumbo shrimps, okay, the big shrimps from the store. Just got the big bag. Again, I got the big bag because I got a big family. You can get the smaller bag. And so we're just gonna throw these spices in there. So what I'm gonna do is literally just put in my Cajun seasoning in here. Got some oregano. What you want to make sure is that you're just covering the you're covering your shrimp and you're mixing it up, okay? So I just got the shrimp. I threw my oregano in there. Let me put a little more in there. It all depends on how much spice you like. The more of the Creole you get in there. This thing has a little bit of a kick to it, a little spice in there, so don't be surprised if you start sneezing. Okay? All right, it's not Corona. It's not Corona. It's not the Rona. All right, so I got that in there. I mixed it up in there. A little bit of my crushed pepper, just a little bit of salt. Don't use too much because that Creole seasoning already has some in there. So just enough to kind of get it going, and that's ready to be thrown on the skillet and start your frying. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna head over to the stove and start cooking. All right guys, we're back. I already got my water ready for the pasta, so that's gonna be heating up. You can use fettuccine pasta, or you can just use regular spaghetti. It's up to you and your family, whatever your preference is. I just got the water going. I got it on high so it can boil fast. Again, we have a big family, so I'll be using 2 packages of pasta, and to make it make enough for my family. You can use 1, you can use half a box, depending. It may just be you and your wife, so just judge it based on how much quantity you need to make. All right, check this out. All right guys, so I got my extra virgin olive oil. I'm just gonna get that ready. I got my heat on the skillet up to medium high, so that it doesn't cook too fast and you don't get your stuff burned in here. I'm gonna use the same skillet for everything that I'm making here, so I'm not gonna exchange it. So ultimately what you want to make sure you do is that you have enough of that juice and all the spices that you're cooking from all the different things to be able to mix up in your sauces. It's all gonna go in the same place, and you don't want to make it too hot, because then you begin to burn your food and you have all that residue in the bottom. If it's burnt, then you know it doesn't taste as good. So you want to make sure that it's crisp, that the flavor is there, and you're using it from one thing that you're cooking to another. So we're gonna let this kind of heat up, and then we start throwing in our shrimp in there. All right guys, so I'm gonna start putting the pasta in here. Listen, I know y'all looking at my ashy hands. That's gonna happen. People gonna talk about your ashy hands. Look at this. Ashy. Look at this. Look at this. It's all good because you're washing your hands. Just make sure that you know, you're avoiding all the corona stuff. But here we go. We're just gonna pour this in here. You don't want to put too much in there. You want every one of them to be able to kind of cook in there evenly. If you don't have a big skillet, just, you know, take your time, be patient with it. You'll get there. This shouldn't take but about, you know, 5 to 7 minutes to be able to get ready if you got the right meat. Alright guys, so as I'm cooking this, I'm looking, and how you know that it's done on one side is when it starts kind of turning that golden brown, because you don't want to overcook it, so you can really get that taste in there and the right consistency. And so as you're flipping it, when it turns kind of golden brown is when you know that it's ready. And so you can kind of play around with it and just wait depending on where your heat is. Just make sure that you've got it cooked all the way through, so you can get the most flavor out of it. All right? Slowly but surely.
So when do you know when that's ready?
Whenever you're making your pasta, so you want to make sure you don't overcook it. You're literally spending about, once the water has boiled and you put your pasta in there, you're waiting about, it's about 8 to 10 minutes maximum, so you don't overcook it, because the pasta will continue to cook because it's hot, and so you don't want to be, you don't want to make it too mushy if it continues to cook. So you want to make sure that it's loose like this, and remove it from the heat and pour out the water, so that even that heat that continues to cook will do the finishing job for it. All right, so I'm gonna take it off here. It's been on here for about 7-8 minutes. So that's ready to go. We'll put it to the side and wait for the rest of the process. All right, so I just switched up my tool here. I'm using the wood because I like to kind of scrape that spice there. Okay, just make sure that it's not overcooked as well. Right here is good enough because we're going to do some more cooking. So it's golden brown. You can kind of see a little bit of white in there, but that's okay. For the most part, we got in there. We've got most of it done in here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this on the side, on the plate, and then we're gonna throw in the rest of the shrimps in here, and we'll use the same skillet for the sausage. Here we go. All right, so this right here was the last portion of the shrimp that was left. Okay, here's what I was talking about. See all this stuff in the oil, all the spices. You want to make sure that all that stays in the skillet. You don't want to lose any of that, because that's what will carry on the rest of the cooking. Okay, we're going to cook in the same skillet. So I'm just going to transfer all this to my plate here. Pouring that in there, putting that to the side. All right, I still got all the spice in here. I'm just gonna add a little bit of oil. All right. All right, guys, I'm bringing back my pasta here. I'm gonna put some butter in there. I like to put some butter just to keep it a little bit loose. Just a little bit there. Mix it up. Oh yeah, by the way, yeah, this happened right here. Okay, I told y'all we're gonna be extra. We're gonna be extra today. So, got my apron on. We got the sausage is ready, so you don't want to overcook it. Just kind of get it fried and warmed up. So don't overcook it. Kind of overcooked a few of them here, but you want to make sure that it's kind of just browning. And we're going to move that to the same thing.
Huh?
We're done cooking, food's gonna be finished.
See that? Still got all that goodness at the bottom of the skillet. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of oil in here. Now, depending on how you like your garnish or your peppers and stuff, will depend on how long you want to cook it. The longer you cook it, the softer it gets. If you like your food to have a little crunch in it, don't cook it as long. I'm using a lot, guys. I got a big family. Got my oregano. I'm gonna add a little more of that Creole spice in there. You want that consistency all throughout the meal, all the dish. I'm not gonna add that much salt in here, just a little bit, because we already have that spice in there. Remember, got my pepper. Get my garlic. Give me a spoon in that drawer. Here? Yeah. Yeah. That's why you need an assistant right there. Again, all depends on how garlicky you like your stuff.
Huh?
Got that in there. You really don't want that much, because you want that to be kind of like your background taste. So I'm just going to sprinkle it in here. Just a generous amount, just a little bit there. A little more. Should be good right there. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna start getting my oven ready for the garlic bread. This is gonna be the best garlic bread ever, okay? So I'm just gonna get the oven ready on bake, 350 degrees, get that started right there, and then we're gonna move over to the other side and start making our garlic butter from scratch. Alright guys, I'm about to pour in my crushed tomatoes. Just about that much for this amount. I got the organic one and it's low sodium, so it's not as salty because we got all that spice in there that's already kind of salty. So now I'm gonna add my heavy cream up in here, up in here, up in here.
All right.
All right. So what we want to do is add enough to kind of make it that white sauce. Okay. And then I'll let it sit until it starts to kind of have that slow boil. Once you start seeing it boiling, then we'll add our cheese, our Parmesan cheese in there. Okay. Look at that. So you got white sauce, you got tomatoes in there, you got all the spices in there and all the goodness that you need.
Good Lord.
Alright, so we got it to that slow boil, simmer, boil there. You don't want to overdo it again. So now we're ready to add our Parmesan cheese. Depends on your liking, how much you like it, cheesy or non-cheesy. So we got kids, American kids, they like them, that cheese. As you can tell, my skillet is getting kind of full here. So as this is getting melted in there, we just want to reduce our heat just a little bit here so that it can slowly cook and not necessarily burn. All right. So I switched it up. I did it over the sink so I didn't spill all over here. But my sauce, I don't know if you can see in there, it's pretty, you know, you don't want it too thick. You still want it runny. So when you start pouring your pasta in there, it can really soak that up, okay? So we'll rinse our hands real quick, really reducing the heat to a really, really low heat because I don't want it to cook any more than it is. Alright, as I'm pouring it in there, I want to stir it up. It's all in there. Now I want to pour in my shrimp and my sausage that I had waiting on the side. Just dump it all in there. And, we'll mix this up and it's gonna be ready to serve here in a couple of minutes. Alright, let's switch it up. Show them your skills, bro.
I don't have any, but we're gonna try this thing. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Just a natural. So how long you gotta stir it up like that for?
You just make sure that everything is consistent in there.
Is it really how you make fufu too? You gotta turn it like that?
You should know.
I wish I did. Okay. Are we good?
You're good.
Alright.
Alright guys, so here's how we make our little garlic butter for the bread. So I was going to use the Irish butter here, but my wife didn't want me to use her butter, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use the butter stick. It's all good. Okay, next time. You always listen to me. You always gonna have haters. Always gonna have haters when you do this, but it's okay. You're about to have a big win. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of garlic in here. I like my garlic bread garlicky. So we'll mix that up in there, and taking the butter and we're just crushing it. Actually, thought it was a little bit softer, but we'll pop it in the microwave just for a few seconds. Not melted, soft. Okay, and then we'll come back. Just like 5-10 seconds. I'll be back. All right. So that was about 10 seconds that I had it in there. So I'm just mixing it up in here. I'll get it all mixed up. See that? It's a little runny because I put it in the microwave, but it's all good. I'm gonna use this little plate deal. You can use aluminum paper. You can use foil. It doesn't have to be fancy. Thing like this. That's where we're gonna have the bread. I'm using this little brush thing, little fancy thing, to just get some of that goodness there and just sprinkle it on there. So we'll do a two-part process. We'll bake it first, kind of get it soft, and then we'll broil it to kind of add that brown, toasty feeling to it. All right? Cool. All right, it's good to go. In a few minutes here, everything will be ready. The next thing you'll see is how we set up the table and show you how to romantically set your table for the lady, for the family, mostly for the ladies. Alright guys, so it was fun cooking with you guys. I hope you thought that was fairly easy. You know, make it fun, make it a good day. As you can see, anybody can do it.
Already full for me.
Somebody's been eating already, but we're going to talk about that later.
Eight over 10.
Wow.
It's bon.
Alright guys, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on our little cooking show. Have fun and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Happy Mother's Day.